Hello, I'm Riele, and today I would like to talk about lightfastness of chalk pastels. Here is the first batch of my chalk pastel lightfastness tests. These have been placed on a west-facing vertical window for a year at a latitude of 52.5 degrees. The middle sections of the pears were covered with thick cardboard, while the sides were exposed. So let's begin. Here I have 3 sets of Earthberry pastels. Sunny Day is a set of 18, which I don't believe is internationally available yet. The tints have suffered a lot. 74, 254, 318 and 309 have considerably faded, and the change has already been visible after the first 3 weeks in March last year. Why does this happen? Earthberry pastels are marketed as eco-friendly and non-toxic, so they don't use cadmium pigments, and light-fast orange and red options are very limited. Organic pigments like pyrrole orange, red and scarlet are very light-fast in mass tone, but are weaker in tints, and it is particularly important in pastels that have no binder to protect the pigment particles. So I guess don't get their sets with lots of light colors if you don't want your artwork to fade. Beyond that, I see minor fading in 236 and 316, 319 became cooler and lighter, and 243 and 166 lost the purple tone. Then comes the small set of 6 called Pear Dew. Again, numbers 50 and 54 faded, the other 4 colors have not changed. The third set I have here is the Hoarfrost of 30. I love the color selection and it performed somewhat better than the rest. I see minor fading in 63, 161, 8, 255 and 179. Number 70 faded somewhat more and lost some of its warmth. 198, 209 and 205 lost their pink or violet tone. This is most likely again due to the use of organic pigments highly diluted with white. If I squint, I might notice some problems in 36 and 32, but I may be imagining it. Overall, the results are pretty much as expected, and the manufacturer's lightfastness ratings have little correlation with reality. If you are in Russia, I can recommend the Hoarfrost set or getting some open stock. Worldwide, they are overpriced for what they are. They are among my favorite pastels in terms of their laydown, and I am very thankful to these sets because they forced me to change my technique in the direction that ended up very fruitful. They're soft but dry and gritty, and this is amazing for landscapes, but I have to admit I never tried them for more delicate subjects like portraits. Then comes a small set of 12 grey tones by another Russian brand, Gamma. I talk about their set of 60 in another video that I will link. They are amazing in all regards, they publish their pigment codes, and by and large they use very decent pigments. Here I see minor fading in the grey-violet 346, which is a mix of PBK11 and PV23, and dioxazine violet will inevitably fade when strongly diluted. I'm not sure why they didn't use a mix of ultramarine and manganese violet instead to make the color more light-fast, but alas, this is not too bad. Then comes a set of 14 grays of Jackson's pastels. They are the same as Mungyo, and their pigment codes are available if you look hard enough for them. If you don't want to dig through obscure PDFs, I highly recommend the artistpigments.org database. It is actively growing and contains information about pretty much every art material available on the market. And if they disclose pigments, it's either already there or will soon be. Back to Jackson's pastels. The grays are not too bad. Even 625 and 637, which contain PV3, did not change. However, then I have some of their pastels I got open stock, and they are truly horrifying. All the dusty roses and violets have faded. When I got them, I couldn't find their pigment codes, otherwise I wouldn't have purchased them. Then comes the portrait set, where dark ochre is mixed from PO13 and PB15. PO13 faded quickly, leaving a light blue color. There are only 3 colors that have only good pigments without any junk in the mix. 158 made of PR101 and 149 and 147 made of PY42. Everything else is problematic to different degrees. Many of them have good earth tones mixed with outdated fugitive organic pigments to boost the color. Some have more of these additives than others, so in some cases the fading is not very obvious and you can get away with it. So I can recommend the 3 good colors open stock, but otherwise there are much better options. Then comes an ancient set of Koh-i-Noor. I had it for over 15 years. They are inexpensive and have surprisingly accurate lightfastness ratings. Everything with 4 or 5 stars is great, everything with 2 or 3 stars has faded to varying degrees, with 28 being a pleasant exception. I can't recommend them overall, but buying a few lightfast colors open stock may be a good option. Then comes the Sennelier Seascape set of 30, including those 2 on the top. They have changed their sets over the years, and sometimes their boxes come with stickers all over the contents of the sets. That is to say, the current Seascape set doesn't have the problematic 367, which is made of anthraquinone and 3 aryl methane violets, and which has faded compared to what it used to be, also in the dark. I unfortunately don't have the stick anymore, as when I noticed it fading, I removed it from my set. Otherwise, it's a great starter set of professional pastels if you're interested in landscapes, but to my taste, Sennelier pastels are a bit too soft for the techniques I like to use. Finally, we have the champions, Unison pastels. I have the portrait set of 36, the light and shade set of 36, and some colors I bought open stock. They don't disclose their pigment contents, but claim to use only mineral pigments, including the so-called toxic ones. Spoilers, they're not toxic if you use them as intended, and always wear a mask when working with pastels, and wash your hands. Inhaling any fine powder, even wheat flour, is very bad for your lungs. So Unison pastels are lightfast and just perfect all around. They cost considerably more than the previous contestants, and here I can say you get what you pay for, or even more than you pay for. They are soft yet dry and the tiniest bit gritty, so amazing overall. And as a bonus, I have a few Caran pastel pencils. 49 has faded, it is made of PB1 and PBK7. Victoria Blue PB1 is a beautiful inky blue color, but it is not lightfast. It loses saturation in mass tone and fades in tints. I am not sure why they used it in their pastel pencils. I read that they use PB1 in their luminance colored pencils instead of PB29 because the real ultramarine pigment is apparently not soluble in waxes, which doesn't make too much sense as ultramarine is used in encaustic. However, I am not an expert, so don't quote me on this. Then there is 161 made of phthalo blue and bone black. I'm not sure what it is there for. 161 has faded noticeably, but it was rated with 3 out of 5 stars. If I look hard at the area where the reds are mixed with white, 060 faded a tiny bit, but 571 and 070 are holding well. I have a longer-term pastel pencil lightfastness test that I'll post soon. Please let me know whether you found it useful, share your thoughts in the comments, and share this video with your fellow artists. I'll see you in the next one.